Millions of people are practicing breathwork right now. Slow breathing, deep breathing, ancient breathing techniques said to awaken higher consciousness. And yet, most people practicing these techniques never experience the awakening they were promised. They breathe, they meditate, they follow the steps perfectly, but something is missing. And the strange part is, the problem usually isn't the technique. It's a subtle trap almost everyone falls into without realizing it. A trap that quietly turns a powerful spiritual practice into nothing more than another mental exercise. Welcome to Mystic Reflections, a channel dedicated to guiding you on a journey of spiritual growth, self-realization, and inner peace. In this video, we're going to uncover why most spiritual breathing techniques fail, the hidden mistake people make while practicing them, and how a small shift in awareness can completely transform the experience. Because when breathwork is understood correctly, it can become one of the most powerful doorways into higher consciousness. The Promise of Breathwork. Breathwork has been part of spiritual practice for thousands of years. Across cultures and traditions, the breath has always been seen as something more than just oxygen entering the body. It's been described as life force, energy, spirit. Ancient yogic traditions even referred to it as prana, the subtle energy that animates the body and mind. And when people hear this, they often assume the path to awakening is simple. Just learn the right breathing technique, follow the instructions, and eventually, higher consciousness will appear. But in practice, that's rarely how it works, because breathwork is not really about the breath. And that's the part most people miss. The hidden trap. The trap is subtle. In fact, it feels logical. Most people approach spiritual breathing techniques with the same mindset they use for everything else. Achievement, progress, control. They focus on doing the technique correctly, breathing deeper, counting the breaths, holding the breath longer, trying to force the experience to happen. And without realizing it, they turn a practice designed to quiet the mind into another activity driven by the mind. The mind becomes the manager, the controller, the one trying to produce the awakening. But here's the paradox. The very thing trying to produce higher consciousness is the thing that prevents it. Why breathwork was originally used? Breathing techniques were never meant to be spiritual accomplishments. They were meant to do something far simpler. They were meant to quiet the mental noise. The breath acts as a stabilizing rhythm, a gentle anchor, something the mind can rest on. When attention settles on the breath, the mind gradually slows down. Thoughts soften, the nervous system relaxes, and awareness begins to become clearer. Not because you forced it, but because the usual turbulence of the mind has settled. Breathwork wasn't designed to create awakening. It was designed to remove the distractions that hide it. The difference between controlling and observing. Here's where the real shift begins. There's a huge difference between controlling the breath and observing the breath. Controlling the breath keeps attention in the mind. Observing the breath begins to move attention into awareness itself. When you simply watch the breath, something interesting happens. The breath begins to regulate itself. The body naturally settles, and the mind no longer needs to manage the process. Instead of doing the practice, you start experiencing the practice, and that's a completely different state of consciousness. What happens when awareness enters the breath? When awareness rests on the breath without trying to control it, the experience changes in subtle ways. At first, the breath feels obvious, air moving in, air moving out. But if you stay with it, really stay with it, the breath begins to soften. It becomes slower, more delicate, almost like a quiet wave moving through the body. And as the breath softens, something else becomes noticeable. The mind becomes quieter too. Thoughts still appear, but they lose their urgency. They drift by rather than pulling you into them. And suddenly there are moments where you realize something surprising. You're still aware, even when the mind is quiet. And when thoughts do appear again, they feel different. They're lighter, less demanding. Instead of pulling your attention in every direction, they simply pass through the mind and dissolve on their own. Why this matters for spiritual awakening. Many spiritual traditions describe awakening as a shift in identity, a shift from identifying with the thinking mind to recognizing the awareness that exists behind it. But the mind is noisy, constantly moving, constantly generating thoughts. So most people never notice the awareness beneath it. Breathwork helps create a gap, a pause, a quiet space where awareness becomes easier to recognize. Not because you're discovering something new, but because the constant mental chatter softens enough for a deeper layer of experience to come into view. When breathwork becomes effortless, something interesting happens as breath awareness deepens. Eventually, the breath stops feeling like an object you're focusing on. It becomes more like a doorway. At times, the breath may even fade from your attention entirely, but awareness remains, still, clear, open. And that's often the moment people realize something profound. The breath was never the destination. It was simply guiding attention back to the present moment, where awareness was waiting the entire time. Bringing this into everyday life. One of the beautiful things about breath awareness is how simple it is to practice. You don't need a perfect meditation environment. You don't need complete silence. You can become aware of your breath almost anywhere. While walking, while waiting, while sitting quietly for a few moments during the day. Just notice the inhale, notice the exhale. In that moment, attention returns to the present, and the mind's constant momentum begins to slow. Over time, those small moments of awareness begin to accumulate, and life itself starts to feel different, more spacious, more grounded, more alive. The real purpose of spiritual breathing. So, if most breathing techniques fail, it's usually not because the technique is wrong. It's because people misunderstand the purpose. And once awareness becomes clear enough, the breath itself begins to fade into the background. It's no longer something you're concentrating on. It becomes more like a gentle rhythm moving through the body while awareness remains open and steady. At that point, the breath has done its job. It has guided your attention back into presence. Final reflection. So the next time you practice a spiritual breathing technique, try something different. Instead of trying to control your breath, become the quiet witness of it. Let it rise and fall on its own rhythm. Let it soften without your interference, and rest as the awareness that notices it all. Because the deepest transformation is not something you grasp, it's something you surrender into. The threshold is crossed the instant you stop striving to awaken and begin to notice the awareness that has been quietly present all along. One breath opening into the next, one moment melting into another. If you enjoy exploring meditation, consciousness, and the deeper nature of awareness, consider subscribing to Mystic Reflections. This channel is here to support that quiet journey inward, the one where understanding gradually deepens, and the things we've been searching for begin revealing themselves in the stillness of the present moment. Thank you for spending this time here, and I'll see you in the next reflection.